I'm 45, I'm from South Africa. The internet we met, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm a pretty outdoorsy kind of guy, try to live naturally. Yeah, I'm happy in Korea. Been here for 9 years, from Cape Town. Yeah, I'm pretty much a raw food vegan. But it's not an issue if I'm in a place where suddenly I get offered rice or something cooked rice, I'll have it. But yeah, I'm pretty much raw food vegan. Been that way for a long time. Yeah, it's like a very easy lifestyle for me living that way. I think I know where to source all my ingredients, so it's never like an issue of having to cook. I just think cooking is a waste of time anyway. It's not the reason I went raw, but I just think people spend a lot of time cooking when they could be doing other things. And yeah, for me it's the most energy-giving diet. That's one of the reasons I went from vegan to raw, was just to kind of increase my energy levels, to feel lighter. Yeah, and I think it's kind of helped me in that regard. What actually happened was I got in my 20s. I got very interested in meditation, and as soon as I started meditating, I started thinking more about how my thinking, how my actions kind of impact my environment, those around me, animals, people. And so for me then the very natural progression was to go vegetarian. And then 2 years later, I kind of, obviously being a vegetarian, I thought more about these issues. I did a lot of research, what goes on in the animal industry. So that was kind of very natural for me to go vegan. And then probably a year or two after that, I actually met this raw food couple, and they were living on a little small holding, producing all their own produce, and they're just really inspiring. And I thought, yeah, wow, that just suits my lifestyle so much, just being raw, living as naturally as possible. And so then I went raw. And so yeah, it was a kind of natural progression. Yeah, I think I grew up in a typical kind of Western home, where we still believed that meat and milk were kind of part of an essential diet. And yeah, so totally. I was kind of very interested in the Indian culture, but even before I'd been to India, I'd read a lot of books and that. I wanted to kind of, I suppose, looking for meaning in life, trying to find the deeper meaning through a natural way like meditation. So slowly especially in Cape Town, there's a very kind of, a very liberal kind of variety of different paths you can go on, and different spiritual centers. So I kind of explored all of them. It was like an adventure for me, trying to explore the different ways of meditation, and I found one that sort of suited me, and yeah, it helped me. It certainly did. Yeah, my thinking became a little bit deeper about how the influence I can have, positive or negative, on things around me. And I think kind of vegetarianism for me was the easiest way to have a positive impact on your environment. For me, it wasn't, once I decided that, wow, eating meat is actually not the right path for me, it was just such an easy step. And I think you can make such a positive impact through vegetarianism, and it's not difficult, I think the majority of people think it's difficult, but once you actually take the initiative and you have that realization that this is actually an easier and better lifestyle. If you have that realization, then it's a very easy step, I think. Yeah, I guess. The first one, the reason I went vegetarianism first was just the ethical reason and why should we kill animals? But of course, the environmental impact to, obviously, raising cattle and dairy. The whole dairy industry is very hard on the environment. So yeah, certainly from that perspective too, from an environmental perspective. But those were kind of secondary reasons. My first reason was just the basic ethics of eating meat as opposed to being vegetarian. Yeah, I think they weren't these way out hippies. They were just normal, decent, down to earth couple, living their own life on a beautiful little farming area. They just seemed like they had this very natural kind of sparkle about them. Like you could see they radiated health as well. But they kind of, yeah, they certainly weren't sort of pretentious about it, but they just, yeah, you could see they were just living a very natural life, close to nature, and that I kind of aspired to that. Yeah, I could see that that's the sort of path I want to lead. Yeah. I mean, on my diet, it is so easy. You know, I've never had a problem back home in South Africa, here, wherever I've been. You know, because especially in Korea, you have your outdoor markets. Basically my diet is like green smoothies. You know, any fruit and just greens. Any greens. Korea has like an array of greens, so that's really easy. So during the day, that's what I eat, just green smoothies, and then at night I make a nice salad. You know, with I sprout nuts or seeds, or you know, I sprout mung beans, lentils, whatever, chickpeas. So that's, I mean, those things, they're all readily available wherever you go in Korea. So yeah, Korea, simple lifestyle. Except the only thing is I don't eat out. You know, so I turn down a lot of invitations to eat out because, well, I'm not really that interested in cooked food, firstly, but also you know. Yeah, I don't know the vegetarian options if you eat out. I mean, I'm sure you can find them, but yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with my routine of just sort of green smoothies during the day, and a bit of fruit here and there on top of that, and then like a nice salad at night. I can always just, you know, I think a common one is you refer to the animals that are actually vegetarian, or you know, the herbivores. You know, they're generally the strongest animals. But I mean, I've done a lot of research on that. I know there's protein in spinach. You know, greens have protein, so it's a kind of, yeah, I know that's a hyped up question for most. Yeah, but yeah, I eat nuts and seeds. I sprout lentils, chickpeas. So those are all high protein. Yeah, so I think I try and explain it from that perspective. But yeah, I think people are a bit surprised when they hear there's protein in greens. But of course, if it's like an elephant, obviously they're getting their greens from somewhere, and their protein from somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I eat a lot of carbs because I do a lot of exercise. But I mean, like fruit is just pure carbs. You know, sometimes I probably get too many carbs just because I eat so much fruit during the day. But I mean, it's balanced with the greens that I put in the smoothies. So yeah, fruit is like just carbs. Yeah, carbs and fiber basically. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't strictly eat like breakfast, lunch, and supper. But I mean, yeah, normally in the morning I'll make a big smoothie, probably at least a liter, with like whatever, apples and bananas and a whole lot of greens, and then in the afternoon I'll make another one, and then in the evening I'll have a salad. But I mean, if I'm hungry during the day, then I'll just eat a couple of apples, but I mean, I'll go through a lot of fruit. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I think pretty much the same time I think when I went vegetarian, I got more interested in health, and protecting my health, it became important for me. So I think then I probably got more into environmental concerns then. So I started cycling as opposed to driving, you know, to work, commuting with my bicycle. So in that sense, I got more into cycling, but I wasn't racing or anything. But I'd say I got into, then I got into cycle touring just as a fun way to travel. And yeah, kind of part of my just adventurous lifestyle, traveling through different countries on my bicycle. So that wasn't kind of competition related, but just, yeah, a nice way to travel, nice way to meet people, nice way to experience nature around you. And then I got into long distance running about 6 years ago. Yeah, so that's been my main thing for the last 6 years is running. Yeah. First one was six years ago. It was a Chunshan marathon. Yeah. Not at all. Okay. I ate the same things back home. Yeah. Yeah, my parents both meat eaters, my sister and my brother are pretty much vegetarians, and my brother's raw food as well. So yeah. But I think the older generation. Yeah, they see the positive impact it has on one, and yet they're still, they're kind of stuck in their ways. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not so. I'm talking about like my mother who's in her 70s. She's pretty healthy, but yeah, I try and maybe like if I'm home, I'll make her smoothies. That kind of thing. Yeah. Try and at least edge her that way, but she's not gonna become vegetarian. Yeah. Mm. I know I haven't read much on it, but I know, there are a couple of Korean doctors. There's some kind of fairly prominent articles have come out recently where they've promoted vegetarianism, which is pretty much a big thing in Korea. And people I think people are kind of taking note at least that there is this alternative lifestyle, and it is an option. Even you can be healthy on a vegetarianism lifestyle. Whereas before I think in Korea it was just considered like. No, not an option. Yeah, just unhealthy and yeah. Oh wow! Actually, that's interesting. Koreans often ask me that, and it's a difficult one for me because I basically don't eat cooked food. So I usually just say, like, wow, Korean apples are great, I don't really have, but I sometimes eat kimbap after a marathon or something if I'm waiting at the train station, waiting for a train, and I feel like I need something solid, and you can easily get vegetarian kimbap, so I think that's quite considering that kimbap is like Korean fast food, it's a healthy fast food, so I think, I suppose my favorite Korean food would be kimbap, yeah. But I think my advice would be like, just try and be raw until lunchtime. Just make sure your breakfast is raw. Make a nice smoothie with greens in, and like, man, that's an energetic way to start the day. Instead of having bread or cereal, those are pretty heavy things on your body. And just start that as a challenge, and that's not difficult, And maybe 1 o'clock you can have something heavier, but like, easy way to start. Yeah, nice. Just feeling the effects of what raw food, like quality food can do for your life. Yeah, just morning times, stay to raw, and then maybe later, afternoons as well, and your evening dinner can be something heavier. I think for most people they sort of got to progressively get into it. With me, I'm just my personality. If I want to do something, I like to just do it now. But I think for most people, they would maybe just ease into it would probably be a better option. Yeah, just to see the effects, see if it works for them. I'm not saying this is a diet for everyone. I think everyone's metabolism, makeup's different, physiological makeup. But yeah, for me, it was just like the perfect diet. Yeah.